Hello, students! Have you ever looked at a world map and wondered why India is located exactly where it is? Well, it's a very special place. In our session today, we are going to understand how our country's unique position has shaped its history and its connection with the entire world. Let's begin!
So, what are we going to cover today? First, we will understand what makes India's location in Asia so central. Then, we will look at the big advantage of having such a long coastline. After that, we will meet all of our neighboring countries. We will also go back in time to see how this location helped in the exchange of ideas and goods. And finally, we'll do a quick recap to get you ready for your exams.
All right, let's dive straight into our first topic. We often hear that India has a central location, but what does that really mean? And why is it so strategic for our country? Let's find out together. So, in geography, what exactly is a central location? Well, just think of it like this. A country with a central location is like a bridge. It connects two big, important regions on either side. And being a bridge is a huge advantage, especially for things like trade and building relationships. Now, have a good look at this map. You can see the huge continent of Asia, right? And notice how India extends downwards into the south. It is perfectly placed right in the middle between West Asia on one side and East Asia on the other. This spot makes India a very important crossroads, connecting these two parts of the world.
Okay, now let's talk about something really special about India. Its incredibly long coastline. This isn't just about beautiful beaches, It's a massive strategic advantage that connects us to the whole world through the sea. Let's explore this.
Look at how the southern part of India juts out into the big blue Indian Ocean. This part of our land, which is surrounded by water on three sides, is called a peninsula. We call it the Deccan Peninsula. And because of its shape, it splits the ocean into two parts, the Arabian Sea on the west coast and the Bay of Bengal on the east.
So what does this mean for us? Well, it means our long coastline gives us a huge advantage. From our west coast, we can easily connect to West Asia, Africa, and even Europe. And from our east coast, we can easily reach Southeast and East Asia. In fact, no other country has a coastline as long as India's on the Indian Ocean. This position is so important that it's the only ocean in the world named after a country. That really shows you how significant India's role has been.
Just like we all have neighbors living next to our homes, countries have neighbors too. And getting to know them is very important. So, let's meet India's neighbors, the ones we share land with and the ones across the sea.
First, let's look at the countries that are connected to India by land. This means we share a physical border with them. You can actually walk or drive from India into these countries. Let's look at the map closely. If you trace the land borders of India with your finger, you will see all our land neighbors. You'll find them in the northwest, directly in the north, and also to the east. This table makes it very easy to remember. So if we look towards the northwest, we have Pakistan and Afghanistan. To our north, we share borders with China, Nepal, and Bhutan. And if we move to the east, our neighbors are Myanmar and Bangladesh.
Okay, so we have met our land neighbors. Now, let's imagine we are taking a short trip across the sea to meet our island neighbors. These are countries located to the south of India.
Looking south on the map, you can easily spot them. First, there is Sri Lanka, just across a narrow strip of sea. And then, a little further to the southwest, you see the beautiful islands of the Maldives. These are our two closest island neighbors.
Now, this is where history becomes really exciting. India's location was not just good for trade. It made our country a place where ideas, stories, and knowledge from all over the world could meet and mix. Let's see how this happened.
For a very long time, people traveled to and from India using land routes. Imagine ancient travelers and traders crossing the high mountain passes in the north. These land connections are much older. It was only later, when ships became stronger, that people started using the sea routes. For a long time, the oceans were seen as barriers.
And this was a two-way street, a true exchange. Many things from India traveled to the rest of the world. For example, the ideas from our Upanishads, the stories of the Ramayana and Panchatantra, and even our number system, the decimal system, went out from India. Our spices and fine muslin cloth were also very popular. And in return, India was influenced by ideas from other places. For example, you can see the influence of Greek sculpture in our art, and the beautiful domes and minarets in our architecture came from West Asia.
We have covered quite a lot today, haven't we?
So, in this final section, let's put everything together. We will recap all the important points to make sure you understand why India's location matters so much, and to help you do really well in your exams.
Now, this is a very, very common question in exams. Why is India's location so significant? So let's break down the answer together, point by point, so you know exactly what to write.
Okay, so when you get this question, here are the 4 key points you must remember. First, its central location in Asia, acting as a bridge between East and West. Second, its access to the sea routes across the Indian Ocean. Third, its very long coastline, thanks to the Deccan Peninsula. And fourth, the rich history of exchange of ideas and goods that this location made possible for centuries. If you remember these 4 points, you can write a wonderful answer.
And finally, I want to leave you with the thought. Remember that a country's geography, its mountains, its rivers, its location, is deeply connected to its story, its past, its present, and even its future. So the next time you look at a map, think about the stories it can tell you.